Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
Good day everyone, I'm here to discuss to you the history of magazine and what is it all about. So magazine released in the year 1663. It was a literary and philosophical edition, and after it was launched several periodicals with very similar topics were published and were intended for an intellectual audience. Appeared in the year 1672 when French author Jean de Debussy created the Le Mercure Galant. It combines topics from court events, theater, and literature. And this magazine concept was copied throughout Europe. So, Nay magazine appeared in the year 1731 with the occurrence of the Gentles magazine. Nay magazine, which comes from the Arabic word which means the warehouse, and was used for describing the place which deposits the large quantity of various goods, while the analogy used to describe a book that contained many useful of actions for travelers and sailors.
In the mid-19th century, readers were only the rich ones, and magazines became available to the middle class. This was the beginning for the first family magazines, such as Dickens' Household Word. During the 19th century, increasing attempts was made to cut the price of the magazine. At this time, the first ads appeared, but that much because the ads went loaded with special tax, all up to 1853. In the late 19th century, and with the invention of the rotary press, the number of the printed copies increased, and the price was reduced, and thus we enter the century that will mark the development of the magazine as one of the world's leading media.
In the early 20th century appears one of the most important icons in the world of publishing, William Randolph Hearst, as the owner of several newspapers across America. Hearst expanded his empire to magazine publishing, starting with the famous Gold Housekeeping, National Geographic, and Harper's Bazaar. Besides Hearst, some other important publications appear such as Condé Nast's Vogue, Vanity Fair, and news magazine Slang. Good Housekeeping is one of the most iconic American magazine, more than 100 years old. National Geographic magazine is the most famous scientific magazine and is one of the oldest in the world, dating from 1889.
So, Time magazine. In crazy 20s, Henry Luce published Time magazine, one of the most important political weeklies. Although Luce launched Time, he was not a visionary and he did not guide the magazine. He actually stole the idea for the first political weekly from his colleague at Yale, Britton Hayden. So Hayden changed the patterns of thinking and behavior of the people in the 20th century, and his partner Henry Luce continued development of the Time magazine. Fortune was considered the best and most influential American magazine. It is known the most first high-quality printed magazine with pages in full color. Fortune also invented photojournalism, something that would make Life magazine famous for years later. Life magazine, published since 1939, is creditable for the development of photo reportage. In France, one person launched a magazine that greatly changed the way women think, speak, and perceive themselves. Helen Gordon Lazafette and her Ellie, French for she, magazine was launched in 1945. Weekly, Ellie instructed French women how to be attractive and wise.
Harper's Bazaar is the fashion magazine, formerly issued like weekly in the newspaper form, but from 1901 turns into monthly. Hugh Hefner's Playboy magazine was one of the first magazines that openly pictured nudity. Square magazine is the most famous men's magazine known for its legendary covers. One of those is this one with Muhammad Ali. Square's best years were in the mid of 20th century when Henry Wolff, as art director, transformed the magazine for men in the visual candy of photographs and illustrations. In Germany in 1959, legendary magazine Twin was released. Twin was a provocative magazine for a younger audience. It is consistent with erotic photos and intelligent articles. Its editors wanted to attack new younger generation who wanted to differentiate from their parents, and in this they succeeded.
In the 70s, emerged a new kind of magazine. Celebrity magazine, the first issue of People, was out in 1974. Since then, Kind of magazine has been the most selling one. Those years brought a boom of women magazine. One of them was gaining in popularity, and it was Cosmopolitan. It was the 60s that made Cosmopolitan famous. Its editor-in-chief, Helen Gurley Brown, refocused the Cosmo as magazine for women. New Cosmopolitan focused on younger women and talked openly about sexuality. This model stayed until today, making Cosmopolitan one of the best-selling women magazines.
On the other side, there was fashion magazines. The most famous of them are Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. The race lasts for more than a century, and then there are few new rivals. At the beginning of the 80s, Vanity Fair was reissued. More and more publications appeared on newsstands, but also many of them disappeared. Among the more successful certainly are British magazine Face and Arena, but both shut down in the 2000s. In the early 90s appears specialized magazines for growing cyber generations, and most respected, and to this day, the best is
British
Wired.
music, fashion and culture monthly, The Face, designed by Great Neville Betty from 1981 to 1986. The Junjari Vanity Fair cover from 1981 with pregnant movie star Demi Moore. Magazine Weird in its 1997 cover expressed worries about stumbling techno giant. Bill Gates was first to come to rescue with a financial injection that saves Apple. When it comes to magazine advertising, most people think that large, glossy, national publication full of big red advertises. And it may seem like your own business doesn't belong alongside. The guys, especially if you don't sell your product outside a 100-mile radius or even outside your own state, but does not yet in the case. In fact, it's quite possible the next time you open one of those national magazines to see an ad for a business that's right in your
Some have predicted the death of the magazines, just like they have predicted the death of the newspapers in 90s. But neither newspaper died and neither will the magazines. There will still be printed magazines no matter how popular tablet editions are. Yes, the numbers will drop, but they will never die.
Magazine shapes our lives, telling us what to wear, what to eat, what to think about ourselves and the world around us. So, although this is the age of the internet, we continue to enjoy magazines, admire their pages, editorials, headlines. Is there anything nicer than to come home after a hard day's work, put on slippers, sit back in a sofa and read your favorite magazine that you just grabbed at your local newsstands? And so, from issues to issues. That's all, thank you. This is the end of our report.